And there we are with the next episode of Podcast for Initiative Drawing. There's the goofiest husband of the world and my dearest friend Tina. And we are talking about other...
serious podcasting business.
Yes, today. Our moderator Daniel will share the next question with you.
Robo Daniel will read the question.
Maybe I get a bug fix for that.
Did you give him laser eyes?
No.
Oh, good.
Dum, 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 dum. Da, da, da.
Off to a good start into episode 4, glaube ich.
Now,
I think.
I already said this is about the origin story and fitting to Robo Daniel. Now let's go back in time.
Time stories?
No. Why did you start painting in the first place? I apart from, I know there's stories about redecorating the walls.
I started way before then.
Doing that?
I was a kid. I was a kid trying things, learning stuff, and I was in kindergarten, and we were at 3 years old or 2 years old supposed to paint, and I still have those paintings, and you had, I hope, the pleasure to look at them and giggle a lot because my birds looked like this and flew like this, and my family still makes fun of me for that.
The birds still do.
Time for talk for challenge rework weeks. Maybe I'll take those paintings, but yeah, that's actually I just was a kid and I tried a new thing and I seemed to like it at that point. So I just...
You don't remember?
I do not actually have memories from that time. My memories kick in way later. But I remember as a kid, every birthday, every Christmas, I got a coloring book. So I was maybe, not forced, but like... supported and just ushered into go on coloring, go on painting, go on drawing. So I guess my parents just thought I liked it. So they said, go on. Here's the coloring books.
So did you...
Color, draw.
So do you already have someone around who was painting or at least doing something like that?
No, that was way later. That was more teen years when my cousin picked up watercoloring. Funny enough, she's a watercolor artist. Now venturing into mixed media, but she started with watercolors, and she was the one that maybe got me into keeping coloring and doodling and stuff in the teen years. I was way more about 3D artwork, like decorations, gift boxes, crafting, stuff like that in my teens.
Food.
Yeah, that too. Food art, actually, yeah. And I kind of stopped painting or drawing there for a while, but it kicked back, or I picked it up again in 2001 when I just had the itch to get back to drawing and painting. And I know the second part of the story, so I will hold that part of why that is back for now. But I just, aside from Lego and jigsaw puzzles, drawing or coloring was my favorite way of spending my free time as a kid, I think.
We also heard previously that you're actually not that bad when it comes to portraits. And I recall that there was someone else who did portraits. Wasn't your dad also doing portraits?
Oh yeah, but he was doing that for fun.
Well, you're not doing...
not like...
You've got this exclusive in life.
As a job...
This is not fun.
As a job, he designed things for mining, so the tunnels and the machines, so he had technical or architecture type of drawing. That's what he did for a job. So having a portrait, the only time I remember, I don't remember him drawing my mom or my brother, he just drew me. And I don't know why that is, but I guess it's because him and I spent a lot of time together when it came to leisure time. We played together a lot. We had jigsaw puzzles together a lot. And I wanted him to draw or paint with me. So maybe that's why I remember him drawing portraits of me and inspiring that part, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, though.
But that got started later on. So your dad...
Yeah, I was 12 when he made a portrait of me.
It could have been that he painted already the portraits.
No, he was more into the technical things. My mom was into the comic doodling kind of things for our photo albums that the both of us, so my brother and I, had, where she just made funny, goofy, tiny drawings next to the photos of us. But she never pursued it, though she has a talent for getting the cutesy kind of a feel for a little doodle or drawing. Yeah.
So what about your origin story?
Now I want to know. I don't know anything about it, so I'm very curious.
Get into painting? What started you off? And
it's actually quite a hard question. I'd love to have my mom around to tell you guys, because I don't really remember when it began. I can just refer to what she told me pretty much. And what she says is pretty much that as soon as I could hold a pencil, I started painting things and coloring books again. And she always is, she's a proud mom, and she has always been, so I don't know how too much give on that. But she said I was in kindergarten, I was quite early for my age, with certain steps in drawing. Like, there's a step when you start drawing hands, not just a circle and some
some lines
there, or when the tree starts to get not just one square and a green cloud over it. And these steps were quite early for my age. I was good with those things. I did watch my environment, and I started quite early to bring that into my pictures. I remember we had a stack of paper where I've drawn on as kid in my house, which was at the end. That when we moved out, it was like this high. To my 7th year, it was this much. My parents kept it all, but it's now lost. And they were both quite proud of that. Later on, I started. I always loved animals, so I started drawing animals from books. And later on, there was a gap between that because reasons. There were some issues, and I didn't really have the chance to do much with that. Instead, just scribbling things. Then I started to get into anime. Before I even knew that it was a genre for its own, I was into that. We had Mina Superstar and Sailor Moon, and I have seen them all. And then
yes,
yeah, and I had a friend who was so much into that. And who taught me actually about what that is. That anime is a certain thing, and what is there to it, and what different anime do you have, and and at some point we had to move away from that area, and to that point I have seen every single episode of Sailor Moon. I have read every single manga of that, and I really enjoyed that. And in the new town I lived in, I found a new friend. It was my best friend back then. She's now sadly passed away some years ago. But with her, I really got the broad side of every anime you could get back then. Possibly it wasn't much in Germany because it was just upcoming. And, we spent whole nights on watching the anime night on the TV show on the broadcaster Vox, in Germany, and they started at 12 o'clock in the night and went on like to 6 a.m. And we were there, we watched it, and we had so much fun. And at that point I started trying to draw like that. I quite soon noticed, as a German, it was impossible to draw a real manga. And I'm still sure of that. It's not possible. You can't tell it's manga because you are German. You are from this culture, and I think you have to grow up and breathe Japan to be able to draw real manga. But yeah, I think everyone has his own opinion. But I learned a lot there about the bodies, the shapes and stuff. Like I told in an earlier episode, I had certain drawings for trade instead of money because I hadn't much. And yeah, I drew so much. I did the doodling things in my notes in school and stuff.
Yeah.
And
My poor teachers.
the best time I had in school were the art classes. I had a teacher who quite, she really helped me out, and she was always quite happy about my pictures, although I was at that time really depressed. I was really down, and they were always really dark and moody, and she was still like always amazed by it and gave me hints at how to do better. And at some point, she asked me if I wanted to go to an oil painting class with her. I didn't have any experience with oil painting at that point, and she asked me, well, there's an artist some kilometers back there, and there's a week of art class with him, and do you want to go with me? And I was like so happy about that she acknowledged it, because at that time I didn't really have much to make me happy. So this was the thing. She was like not just being friendly, but she also recognized that I'm doing something quite good. And we went there. I had a blast. It was really so cool. I had so much fun, and I got into landscapes. That's still a thing I love to do, but I don't really have the time for it. But landscapes are really the kind of thing that you wouldn't probably expect from the last talks we had. Because there you can go on with pure colors. Shape is less important, but you can do so much, especially with the oil paintings. I had really fun. But after that, my depression got so hard that I wasn't able to do anything anymore, even not painting and not socializing, even with that special teacher of mine. And yeah, with that, it was like for years I didn't have really a pen in my hand or a brush until I met you.
Yay!
So when I asked for the origin story, you both kind of dodged the question not dodged the question, but you both kind of tried to go back the very first time you held something that was able to produce color on the paper. Let me rephrase that. When was the first time you consciously decided to learn about art technique or stuff like maybe the first time that you bought your own first book about art or stuff where? So for me, it's pretty much in school where then basic techniques like coloring and all that came in, and the perspective stuff we actually have been talking about. But it sounds like you guys were more or were already interested in that stuff way before that, or at least at some point was a point where you said, okay, I want to get better at it. It's not just I want to get started, I want to paint something, I want to doodle around, but I want to improve myself to create better artwork.
That's actually a funny thing. So way before that time that the book thing happened, I did, in school it was color pencils and watercolor and graphite. And in my first job, I bought myself some pastels and charcoal. And then I'm not interested in books. I'm more of what I would call an intuitive artist. I don't need to know the rules to make something. I'm very raw like that. I'm not trained. I never got a training until my mom gave me as the first gift in my new flat, the one that I lived in when I met you in Frankfurt. And she bought me 2 canvases and acrylics and said, this is like magazine, and there's with MDF wooden pieces, you can make some 3D artwork on canvas. Try it, it's fun. Maybe I thought you'd like it. Happy Easter, there you go. And I tried it and I was hooked. I was acrylics. Yeah. So instead of just coloring with some Schwamm?
Sponge.
Yeah, sponge.
Sponge, yeah. With some sponges, just coloring the canvas and having the MDF wooden pieces as a decoration on top. I thought, well, I could paint with that. I know how to draw with pastels. But when I tried it, the medium was so different. It felt so different that I had to relearn the intuitive, well, not the intuitive things, but how to do the thing that I can do with another medium. So pretty much like you right now with the watercolors, it was the same thing in 2004. No, 2005, early 2005, sorry. So I bought a couple of books from an artist that has pretty much acrylics only, step by step, how to do things with acrylics, how the medium works when it comes to gradient shading or different techniques like with a palette knife or with a brush or wet or not wet, and how to work with the skin tones and not buying every color but mixing the colors, how that worked. So I bought those books, and I guess that was the point where I said, okay, I want to improve and not only I want to make art. So I'd say 2005. That was the time.
Yeah, to me it's actually quite a hard question. I was just half listening to you, I admit, and was thinking about it.
Trying to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really trying to remember, but I remember getting my first books with theory on drawing, perspective and stuff from my father when I was like 8 or 9. He also gave me a book about watercolors with there was a little palette with watercolors included in the book.
Whoa!
And I remember I never dared trying it because, like I said, we had no money. It was a rare thing for me. It was precious. I never dared using it. I had to throw it away some years ago after we had an issue with water in our cellar where I had to put that book because we hadn't space. And I was never able to try that. And then the same with the books I read about it. They were more like demotivational because you had to watch so many things. And I read them, but I never tried them because it all looked so perfect. And you have to do it like this and that. And I was like, I'm never gonna able to do this. I couldn't do that.
Did somebody encourage you to try nonetheless? Like your art teacher,
my father was one who loved it. My mother. At some point, my brother made a birthday present for me with charcoal.
Ooh.
And some other stuff, a sketchbook and stuff. And he made a whole bundle with his back then girlfriend, and they gave it to me. And I was still like discouraged, like, I'm not good at this. I might be a little better than they are, but not good enough to really make it my hobby. I would be so frustrated at some point. So I didn't dare trying it. And also my art teacher, of course, she was always like, oh, that's good. And I didn't see that. I didn't see what she told me. So at which point did I decide I could do more and I could, for example, do it my regular hobby? I guess it was like not even a year ago.
Well, we have our first anniversary coming up.
I didn't really have the supplies to do it. And back then I didn't really have the chance to get the supplies, except for pencils. I always was scrabbling with pencils and stuff, but never more because I couldn't. I feel like I just wasn't able to do it.
But it seems that both of you were encouraged by family and friends pretty early on. I mean,
Yeah,
there's...
but I couldn't hear it.
but there's...
It's difficult to grasp when somebody says, this is goddamn awesome, can I please buy that? And you don't see the thing, you're just like, my heart isn't in that painting, or this is not right, this doesn't feel right, and others are so overwhelmed or find it awesome, and you cannot see it because you don't feel the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't fit my own expectations I have of a painting.
That's one thing that's really difficult to learn, and to just finally say, accept it. Other people see other things. I might play to their preferences with a painting, even if it's not an important painting for me. Others that I say, this is a goddamn awesome painting because this and this is in that painting. That's the story for it. Other people don't see it because they don't know my story. They just see the painting. They don't know what it's about, and they don't maybe feel the emotions that I feel when it comes to.
But basically,
artwork.
they try to make us, I guess.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
So what keeps you painting?
Mental health. You were tackling on the subject of depression, and one other thing that we have in common, like no other things that we're pretty much brain siblings. It's weird. I lost art for a while, and I like art is my valve, like my pressure release valve. Back in the day, we both worked in the same company, and we had a very stressful job. And usually I would come home and or paint on the weekends. Like our living room was our living room, our dinner room, my office, his office, my painting session. Kind of a feel, it all in a very small space. And then for a long time I couldn't paint. And I don't know, 2 years later, I was homesick with a burnout depression because I didn't have anything that would give me that release or balance. So I lost art. I tried to cope with photography. It worked for a bit, but not really as getting my hands dirty and getting color. And funny enough, with photography, I only made black and white photos mostly. Not color, and color seems to be my release though. So in the healing process, being home with a pretty funny, I'd say medium hard kind of a depression thing, my therapist said, start painting again. This is the thing. I always hear you say, you don't have a release, so go back to your release. And it was really, really difficult to get back to painting. And I don't know if you remember, but one night I was bawling in the living room, like really hard, and painting. And I was bawling because I was getting my release again. So that night I promised myself I would never, ever have that kind of a situation again. So I need to paint and create and make artwork in order to be mentally healthy. It's not only a hobby anymore, it's a need. It's like, I don't know, a pill against high blood pressure. That's the thing. The good thing is, it's not a bitter pill. I love that pill.
It's a passion.
It's a passion. I always say, and that's also my motto, art is bits and pieces of my soul. So I guess I'm kind of still putting myself together, and for the future I prepare myself to cope with shitty things way, way easier. Like, for example, last year was a horrible year for us. We lost 7 people in our family and close friend circle, and I'm okay because I got to express it in artwork. I'm
okay because I'm Robo-Dan.
I'm not even feeling close to a depressional episode. Not even close. So I'd say the lucky thing is it makes me balanced and be around people and other people tolerating me as well and being able to deal with me, because I know I can be a shitty person if I'm unbalanced. And it makes friends. Just like board games, it makes a partner in crime. You share the studio with somebody.
Which conveniently explains why you're still painting.
That's true. But
you're forced. You actually, what you don't see is the shackle under the table.
No.
Don't talk about it.
I'm not sure whether I would do as much artwork if I wouldn't have our sessions here. I'm not sure, because when I get to my apartment, which I dearly love, it's
your sanctuary.
It's my sanctuary, really. I love my apartment, really. But when I get there, I'm pretty much brain dead. Because I work a lot. And after that, I don't feel like doing much. And when I get to you, my state of mind is quite different. First, I have you two to get me out of that state of mind, to be like brain dead, but to keep me going, to keep me being somewhat human. Mm-hmm. And then I have a task, which I don't have when I'm on my own. I'm just setting my own tasks, and I'm not quite disciplined with that. So I need that painting sessions too, and I also noticed that it keeps me stable too. Although I have lots and lots of stress in the last months and so much to do and so little time for everything, I enjoy what we do. I enjoy every product of the time we have here. And I enjoy, doing it and talking with you, or just talking with you, or just, being there and not talking is also quite good.
Read some stories while
and
you paint.
Yeah, just producing something which is a part of yourself for others to see and to give. So you have it here and you can give it away pretty much if you want to, and it opens so many possibilities, I think.
Yeah, sharing is caring. If it's not for herpes.
From what both of you described, you either are immune to feedback, or at least you don't do this to get some kind of recognition by someone else. I mean, you explicitly said that you, despite people liking what you did.
Sometimes feel uncomfortable. You're blushing really hard in front of a computer screen because you read somebody's comment.
I was going for that. So how do you react
I do love the Board Game Geek list, but I'm blushing really hard when somebody there, especially the designers or the publishers of that said board games, say something nice and say, hey, this is cool, keep on going, keep up the work. It's like, oh my god,
it feels like a big push for your ego.
It's
really
not fangirling so much, but it's like, oh my gosh, we can't be that wrong with what we do if a very broad set of people say, hey, this is cool for different reasons. Well, it's not perfect, but it's cool. Keep on going.
It's a broad set of people, but they're also artists, I would assume.
And it's even I don't want to say worth more, but they are able to do what you do. They recognize things quite differently. When your family says, oh, you are so awesome, I'm used to that. My mom, love you, Mom.
She loves you to death.
She loves me to death. She's proud of so many things I do. I grew up with that, and I have sometimes hard times believing that I'm really that good as she tries to express. Just for the reason that she was always there supporting me for everything I did. Which is a little sad, I guess, but it is like it is. And I'm glad she was there and always supporting me. But I had such a bad,
your inner critic your inner critic voice was way louder than it
because I didn't think it was good what I do. It changed over the years. I started to recognize when someone's just being nice, or when people really like things I do, and I can differentiate between that, and it's gives me different reactions. And I really love the feedback when we get it, and I'd also love when people say, okay, you could do this different or this. I wouldn't be hurt by that. I think every critique you get is a chance to evolve a little.
I would agree, as long as it's a critique, because the internet is famous for...
If it's manners and not just trolling or bullshitting, if you have manners, it's fine. That's a critique, and that's always, like you really said...
Although I have to say, the internet has been very kind so far, because there haven't been a lot of very negative just for negativity's sake.
Yeah.
No, we were very, very lucky for that. Our channel has a very sweet and well-mannered audience. Yeah. So we do not so far seem to be the target of any kind of bullshitting or trolling people. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the future holds. Yeah. Maybe I have to lash out at one point.
Great subscriber numbers comes great... Oh no, that's a different...
But, trolling, you know, I do like the... I think... One I have to rewind. One thing that's very important to me, aside from the Draw for Initiative and Gamers Couch, that's my channel philosophy on its own. I'm not buying subscribers. I'm growing organically. So, like, I'm not baiting people. So people, I'm growing.
We're procreating and trying to.
Yeah, I'm fucking right. So I don't. You can buy subscribers. You can invite maybe not wholeheartedly interested people onto your channels, and I don't do that. So when people leave a comment, and that's not on every video, and I don't expect it on every video, but when they do, it always reads as honest and kind. So they don't always say this is awesome, but hey, this is cool. Mm-hmm. When it feels honest and well mannered, it's just as great as somebody saying, hey, Sarah for president or something.
Honestly,
you know?
For the comments that we got so far, every single time I read those comics, especially at the Board Game Geek forum, I feel like, thank you, and giving them a hug. If they're approachable, I would give them a hug because I'm so thankful.
Are you hugging your phone or computer screen while you do it?
No.
Not telling. Yeah, but
it makes me really happy if we get that feedback, or if it's just a thumbs up on that regard.
It's somehow, well, we're not at the point of reviewing and judging. We said 6 months, and only then we're gonna look at numbers and see if we keep it up or if we change the format a bit. And every time I read a comment or see the statistics on the videos, I'm like, I guess it's cool what we're doing there. It's like I'm not far off with my thoughts, maybe, and that's confirmed, especially when people on the Board Game Geeks comment on that.
I mean, it's a thing we enjoy, and it's even better when the others enjoy
somebody
it.
else
it's just so much more enjoyable also for us.
Yeah, it's like sharing is caring, like I say.
Something that makes me very happy, or would make me very happy, if you come back next week for the next episode, and as you've already heard the keywords subscribe, share, and thumbs up, like, you can do those on any video, but if you do them on these, pretty cool too.
Yeah, somebody would be having a happy dance here. I don't know.
No, don't do it for that. Just thumbs up sometimes.